Hi, my name is Mary Spender and welcome to today's video. It is snowing everywhere in England apart from where I live, so it means I have absolutely no excuse not to get outside and exercise today, which, I love an excuse. However, one thing I did get to do recently was catch up with my friend Reina Del Cid over a beer. I was the one having a beer because it was late in the evening. She's obviously in California, so she was having coffee.
Strat or Telly?
Strat.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Are you more creative in the morning or the early night?
Night. Definitely. Night owl.
Coolest place you've traveled to?
Went to Kuala Lumpur once.
That's cool.
But I would just, love you to check out the full interview over on her channel. And in the meantime, I thought I would show you some highlights from the interview we did back in March 2020. So I really, really hope you enjoy this episode.
So Tony and I met in 2011, way back then, and I was trying to find a guitar player who was like a real guitar player to be in my band. And the bass player in my band, Chris, was like, I know this great guitar player. We were in a jazz band together, Tony. And I was like, cool, give me his number. And then Chris was like, oh, it's actually a girl. And I was like, cool, girl lead guitar player. You don't see that every day. And I'm sure this is something you're really sick of hearing, but
no, not at all.
Yeah. So Tony came and she just completely melted our faces. And she's the only member of the original band that I had that still plays with me. And everybody else has kind of moved off to become a farmer in one case. And, somebody else moved to a different state. So, Tony's been playing with me for a long time. And then we met Josh because he reached out on Patreon. We were both supporters of each other's music on Patreon. And he reached out and was like, hey, next time you find yourself in New York, let's do a video together. And so we did a video with Carson and Josh. And we realized like we have so much in common, not only musically, but personality-wise. We just kind of hit it off. And we were like, we have to do a tour. And then we have to do another tour. And then we have to do 5 more tours. So that's kind of how it happened. It's very similar to with you. It's like I kept seeing your videos pop up in all my related searches. People were commenting like, you need to know Mary Spender. And then when, I can't remember if I reached out, I think I probably reached out to you. And that totally just makes sense. There's like there's a synergy there, I think. So.
Well, I think I fangirled a bit in a video where I was like, I love Reina Del Cid's, YouTube channel. And luckily I was in LA for NAMM, and with collaborating with Tony, I like what you said, where it's just like you have this sort of teamwork around what you're in control of, what she helps with, and then the collaborative process. But how does that work in terms of like original song writing too?
Usually the way that works is it'll just be me having a chord structure and a melody and some lyrics. And then I bring it to Tony and she just contributes more ideas, more fleshing out of the musical side of things. And sometimes she'll kind of throw in some chord substitutions, like maybe instead of just like a regular 4 chord here, we should do, whatever weird chord Tony comes up with, like things like that. So she's really improved my music that way. And I've been trying to get Tony she writes her own like guitar pieces every now and then. Like she just wrote one the other day because she's been quarantined and she can finally focus on it. I've been trying to get her to do more of I'd love for Tony to write more and then for me to just kind of like come in and do some lyrics on top of that. Because I think that's actually like, she writes such musically rich things that I think that could be, that's a direction I want to move in.
And the same for songs. Like I feel an affinity with you because our music is not, it's not what's in the charts right now. And I think when people are trying to write or they're thinking of starting a songwriting career, they might be tempted to write for a specific thing like getting a number 1 or something like that, or what's in vogue right now, what's popular. And I feel you become way more successful in your career when you do what you can consistently keep up. So if you aren't into electronic music and you start writing electronic music, you're not going to be able to keep it up. So that's what I love about your songwriting. It's just like you have a voice, you have stories to tell. You're not writing it for so many. I think the best thing to do creatively for anyone who is listening is like, don't write for masses of people, and don't write for something that you think is going to be popular. Write for you, and then no one can copy that. No one can take that away from you. Like you've become original just by writing in your own style.
Yeah, and I think, you know, people have a pretty good BS meter. You know, you can hear when you can tell when you're hearing something that is like manufactured to become a hit or something, or to have a certain style. And I think when I hear music that I know is authentic and real, you can just immediately tell. And that's the kind of music I listen to, and that's also the kind of music I want to write. You know, I really don't have any interest in trying to like ride a wave or a trend. And maybe sometimes that keeps me in like a certain, I don't know, like older classic genre, but that's just sort of my style, and I don't feel like I have to change it in the wake of new music coming out.
Well, I kind of, it took me a long time to even see that for myself. And now I really admire it, because it's such a journey to try and, I don't know, forget about what other people are going to think of it. Or when you might get that comment from a family member or a friend who'll be like, well, it's not going to be a hit, or like something like that, which is, it's so snide and it's so silly, because what have they written? Have they written a hit? Do they know what would be a hit? But yeah, it's a sort of, I want to say it's like a form of independence, or sort of a way to just literally create for a small amount of people actually means that you might end up creating for more than just a niche thing. And that's what I found with my whole YouTube channel. It's like, once I stopped trying to write those pop songs that I was trying to write, and just focused on how I wrote and how I wrote best, which is alone at my desk with an acoustic guitar, laptop in front, so I can type down ideas quickly. Rather than trying to organize co-writing sessions with popular singer-songwriters or songwriters who might be able to craft whatever I've written into something a bit more commercial. And then those songs become more popular just because you're able to deliver it more consistently. And okay, so Reese asks, how has the Minneapolis music scene, obviously that's where you used to live, how has it influenced your music?
Well, I mean, I think people talk about the Minneapolis Sound, which is, you know, Prince and, you know, that sort of like neo-funk, neo-soul thing. That part of it has not really had a ton of influence, even though I used to go to see Dr. Mambo's Combo, which is like Prince's old band. They play the same bar every Thursday. Every Monday and Sunday. Yeah, 2 days a week. And they've been doing it for like 35 years, which is crazy. So, I love the Minneapolis Sound. I love everything that's going on there. It's a really tight-knit community, like, of musicians, more than one would think. Like, for some cold city up in the north where there really aren't that many people, there's a lot going on musically there. We have a ton of amazing venues there. But I think the main way that it's sort of formed or like influenced our music is just that we had this residency in downtown St. Paul where our band used to play every Monday. And we got a lot better doing that. And we kind of built up our live chops, and we became less afraid of audiences and sort of things like that. And so I think just that location and sense of community, and the same people would come every week, that really influenced just how we do our live show. And it made it a lot better. So now we live in LA, Tony and I, and there's a lot more opportunity here, I would say. But I'm very grateful for having sort of a connection to the Midwest.
Yet another thing Reina and I have in common is that we both have Patreon pages, so you should definitely go and support her over on Patreon too. But it is time for Patreon of the day. So I've got my random number generator. 425. 425. Roy Height. You are my patron of the day. Thank you so much for your support. To everyone else, please subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, check out Reina's video, and otherwise, I'll be seeing you very soon.